Hey everyone! Okay, so this is actually the next installment of the 7 Deadly Sins, and this time we did lust, and when most people think of lust, they think of just like winged eyeliner and a red lip, because that's typical with more of a lusty, sultry look. So instead of doing just a typical smoky eye or just typical winged eyeliner and just throwing on a red gloss or anything like that, I actually did very, very extremely winged out eye shape altogether with my shadow, with a little bit of red thrown in it, as you can see, and liquid liner, so to speak, because I didn't use a liquid liner, and then the red lip, but I used a black lip liner with it to go ahead and add like Mondo contour and really make the lips pop. So that's pretty much it, and let's just go ahead and get this tutorial started. The first thing we're going to do is take our red Kryolan aqua color, and then of course we're going to use our whatever kind of liquid we're using with it, whether it be eye drops, water-based mixing medium, water, anything like that. And then I'm just going to pick some up on an angled brush, and we're going to draw out our main shape. And a lot of people ask me, especially with liquid liner, how to make sure you're going to be able to get each side symmetrical. And there's actually a trick for that. If you follow your waterline, you're going to notice it's not going to come, once you start here, go to this side, once you get right here, you're going to notice it doesn't come straight out and it doesn't go down. It actually curves upwards. So if you just follow the natural curve of your waterline on each side, it's going to guarantee that you're going to be a little bit more symmetrical on each side. So I'm just going to go ahead, follow the natural line of my waterline. Make sure, I just marked a little bit right there, make sure it's okay. And then once I have it, I can just extend it out. So now I have that, and then when I look straight ahead, you probably can't see it as much right now, but the lines are even. So I know everything's going to be symmetrical, so as long as I just follow that line, I'm good. So now that I have that, I'm just going to go ahead and go from my crease, and I'm just going to draw another line from the outside corner of the eye over to the inside. And I'm not worried about making sure there's tons and tons of product on my brush, only because I'm going to go in and add stuff on top of this. This is just my guideline. So now I have that. And then a really nice trick to help with the fade of everything, I'm just going to take the brush again, but instead of doing it horizontally like that, I'm going to hold the brush vertically right here, and then I'm just going to pull straight over, and once I get to the center of my eye, I'll turn it horizontal and just continue on that line, and you can see it makes it wider over here. Let me just fill in this area. Makes it wider over here, and then once I got to the center and turned it, it automatically makes the shape taper. So that way it gives me a nice good guideline to follow, and all I have to do to maintain that shape is just take this upper portion, sorry, and just blend out that top line. Now that I have that red area drawn on, I'm just going to take the same brush with the tissue and wipe off all the excess, because I'm going to use this brush to blend. So I'm just going to go in and blend this top edge, and I'm just using very light pressure. Now that I have the red on and blended out, as you can see, I have a nice harsh line in my crease right here, and then the color just blends upward. I'm going to take Cranberry Eyeshadow by Kryolan. It's another one of those loose dusts that I was talking about in another video. It's just a nice red with a little frost to it, and I'm going to pick some of that up on a flat, stiffer brush, and then I'm just going to press that right on top of the Kryolan. Okay, so that part's done. As you can see, everything's blended. Doesn't take that long. If you have problems doing it that way with a smaller brush, you can always take like a blending brush and do it that way. I just find since it gets so tiny right here with the blending that it's just easier to do it with the smaller brush and the lifting trick. And if you get used to doing it like that, then you can start doing all of your blending with a brush like this as opposed to something fluffy. So maybe that'll help some of you in the long run. But now that I have that, I'm going to do the same exact thing, but this time I'm just going to use a matte black eyeshadow, so I'm going to use Carbon. And I'll do a little bit of the blending on camera for you so you can see. But you just go ahead and set it, like press it in, and lift. So now I'm going to take my black Kryolan, and I'm just going to get a little moisture on it, and I'm just using water-based mixing medium. And then I'm going to take another angled brush. I'm using a smaller one this time. And now I'm just going to go ahead and do eyeliner. Since I already have that line to follow as a guideline, let's see if I can move everything so I can do this on camera. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to follow my waterline as a guide. And I'm just going to wing it out like so. I hope you could see some of that or all of it, because my hand likes to get in the way. But on this side I have it winged out pretty far, so I'm just going to start my wing out farther back and connect it. And then once I get about here, I'll make it a little thicker so I can actually bring it onto the lid, fill in any area, and then just continue to line my top lid. Top liner's on, it's had time to dry, so that little nifty trick about using a stiffer brush to go ahead and press color and lift. I don't want a harsh line between the liner and all the other colors, because you can see, you really see that liner standing out. So, excuse me, I'm just going to take a little bit more of my carbon eyeshadow, do the same thing, get it on the side of the brush, set the tip of the brush right at the edge of the liner, and then I'm just going to blend into the rest of the eye. Okay, so now that I did the little carbon to blend in the liner, you'll also notice right here is a little bit darker. I noticed it wasn't as dark as I wanted it, so I just added a little bit more carbon to that area as well. I've said it before in other videos, it's easier to add than it is to take away. So start off lightly, and then that way you can always build up your color's intensity. So yeah, that's just a good way to prove it right there. I added more later on because I wanted it more intense and more vibrant. So now that I have that on, I'm just gonna go in and take Feline Coal Power, and I'm just gonna do my waterline with it. Now that the waterline's done, just gonna go ahead and do a little bit on my bottom lash line, just a tiny amount, and I'm gonna take a nice pencil brush and use that to blend, and I'm gonna blend it into the liner that I have on the top as well. Now that the bottom liner is on and done, I just went in and did the main shape of my brow. I used lithograph fluid line, which is just a dark gray eyeliner. So now that that's done, I can actually go in and do my brow highlight now. And I'm just going to take the white shimmery pressed eyeshadow by Kryolan. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that on my brush, and then I'm just going to press that right underneath the brow. And since I have that on now, I can go in and actually fill in my brow completely. Once you're done with your brows and everything like that, you would of course do mascara, false lashes, anything like that, and do any finishing touch-ups that you think are necessary. Now I'm going to move on to the lips. I'm going to first use a lip primer. I'm just going to use MAC's Prep and Prime Lip, because the lip color that I'm going to use loves to stain lips, but it stays on forever. So I'm gonna put that on, let it soak in for a little bit to give it like a minute or two so it can actually adhere and set. Now that the lip primer has had time to set, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the lipstick, and I'm using MAC's Ruby Woo lipstick, which is a retro matte, but it's a bright red. And I'm just going to apply it very quickly. Now that the red's on my lips, I'm going in with a black eyeliner. If you can find a black lip liner, that would be great. Otherwise, like Ebony eye pencil from MAC is a good thing to use. And I mentioned I didn't do a lip liner before because I'm using black. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with this, being very careful. And as you can see, that's dark. I'm gonna fill in the outside corners a little bit. And the shape that I do is kind of like a triangle. I don't know if you can see. I start in here, come over a little bit, and then I just come straight down. And I'll blend that later. Do the same on the other side. And then go ahead and line the top. Now that the top's lined, I'm just gonna, instead of drawing on the outside corner, just go like that to smudge it. And you could leave the lips like this if you want with the harsh line. I'm just gonna go in with a lip brush. I'm using a 306, which is a square lip brush, and I'm just very lightly gonna blend the edges so it fades from black into the red. So now the lips look like that. I love it. And to top it off, I'm just gonna take a little bit of lip gloss. I'm using a deep red. I don't know, you can see that. And then I'm just gonna take the same lip brush that I used with my tissue that I've been using this whole time. And I'm gonna wipe off whatever's on there. And then apply that on top. Then once you have the gloss on, your look is completed. So there you go. There is the tutorial. Be nice if I could talk. The tutorial based off of The Sin of Lust. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to all of you soon. Bye.